Dudley Rabbit here. Easter's almost here, so hurry up with those eggs.
Hi, I'm Clara Clucker. Dudley asked me to tell all you moms about his new improved shaken egg. It makes Easter eggs that are downright egg-siding. Get it? Well, come on, Mom, I'll show you. Just pour Dudley's dazzling new dye mix into the shaker bag. Now dip a hard-boiled egg in warm water, put it in the bag, and just shake away. Oh, isn't that fun? Oh, and here's what's new. Dudley's new formula dyes and dries instantly, right in the bag. Have you ever seen such wonderful colors? So, Mom, take it from me, Clara Clucker, and this year get Dudley's own shaken egg, the better-than-ever way to color Easter eggs. And look for Clara Clucker's Happy Easter Egg, the colorful giant blow-up egg with pictures of me and all my Easter friends at fine stores everywhere.
Hey, we're here. I am here. And it looks like some of you are here. Hey, Groovy Archives. For today's big show. I'm going to be covering holiday stuff. I should have done this last week and done all my fireworks and 4th of July stuff. But so I figured I'd mix 4th of July with Easter since Easter's, 9 months away or something. And I love Easter. And so, so we started with a little Dudley. And that's one thing that I've been collecting for years and years and years are Easter egg dye kits. The main ones are my Paas collection, which we'll get to. But these Dudley ones, I got lucky enough to get both of these at one point. And the pink one is from 77 and the green one is from 81. And they're really just kind of crazy. They're packed with all this stuff. I'm not going to crack open all of these kits because that would be a very long show. But these ones have bags in them, they have puppets in them, they have colored dyes, they have cutouts. I'll crack one of these Dudleys open since we don't have a lot of Dudley stuff. Oh, see, look at this. These are so great. And I have another, where's that other little one? Oh, where are you? Oh, where is that other little one? Oh, he's buried here. I also have this one, which is all these little dies in a swirl egg package, which is super cool. But, luckily this person tore open these packages and then threw them back in here. And these characters are just great. Bubble Blue and Goofy Green. These are really like sort of, in my opinion, the end of the great 70s design, And they've got the puppets in here. And that was kind of one of the things. They're all disgusting and got dye on them. It's a lot of stuff like this. Hello, James. Hello, Global Pop Culture. A lot of stuff like this, kids would, bag it up and save all this stuff for the next year. I guess this one's missing all the bags. Not surprisingly. And we'll crack this one open too. And this one's sort of the same thing. And this one, we've got all these shaker bags, which I've packed away in here. And this one has some puppets in there too. And lots more cutouts and a Paas thing in there, just for good measure. I mean, look at this stuff. They really went out and did some interesting, weird, kind of marker art is what I call it, because they probably. And this is just all these bags. I think some of these bags might be from the other ones. And all these really kind of. I didn't have these ones as a kid, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty, like I said, it's kind of 77, 81. It's sort of the end of the 70s. And that's when things got a little less interesting to me. This one is just fantastic. Dudley Swirling Egg. And you can see him in here. Yahoo Yellow, Goofy Green, Bubble Blue. And these are these great dyes that came out in the 70s, maybe even in the early 80s they first came out. And what it was kind of an oil in there. So you'd sort of swirl it around and the oil would sort of stick to the eggs. And once again, a great box has art everywhere except the bottom, but, there's Dudley right there. And what a neat way to display these, where you can really see them all, and it only weighs a few ounces. And this one's 1980. Just great. So I started collecting Easter stuff with Paas. Paas being just one of the companies. I should have done a little research and found out who the heck Paas were, but it's Newark, New Jersey, and it always just seemed kind of like it was like Scandinavian, that name. And now there's earlier ones which I don't keep as much, but this is where we see the direction of where Paas is going to go. And then with this next one, we've sort of, in this one, everything's sort of generic. It's sort of carryover 40s, 50s art. But boom, here we go. Welcome to the 1960s. This is what I'm talking about. This old rabbit out the door. The new sort of rabbit is like this sort of a Richard Scarry kind of looking thing. It's like a real children's book influenced. And now they're making it all over the place. It's a real children's book illustration thing. They paid some real money to have a real artist come in there and do this beautiful box. I don't know if this one has a date on it. Let's do the quick look around. And the one thing about these Paas kits is they some of them they just kept making almost exactly the same for years and years and years. And we see a lot of the classic Paas stuff. We have the the wraparound things, but we don't have all the characters yet. They're still sort of figuring out that really classic bunny art. And then like with this one, here they are. These are the rabbits that I remember from when I was a kid. What's this? Grocery, 51 cents. Even though it says $1.19, this one went for 51 cents. Seems like a good deal. And once again, this one doesn't have any information, but this one actually has a UPC. So some of these other ones might be a little earlier, because $1.19 for a kit is a lot. But this one's really nice. The rabbits are painted, this beautiful painted art. And the rabbit's got his beret on. He's got his brush and his palette. So it's really, they're starting to use tropes on all these things, and that's what's sort of fun with these ones is, we've got the balloon, and they're 29 cents up in one corner, 5 cents in Sharpie there. Maybe, who knows? This could have probably ended up at the flea market for 5 cents. I'm not sure. I certainly couldn't keep track of where these all came from. But as you can see, here we go. The characters are all now part of the kit. So you can make that airplane, and the other nice thing about these boxes is they're utilitarian. So it's like there's punch outs here, so you could this tray right here that you can set all the eggs in is the box. So it's really this really interesting thing where they've made everything part of the situation. So here's the plane, and if you grew up like me, you just remember these. You remember that duck, you remember the bunnies, because year after year they would have the same exact characters in these. And that was sort of the interesting thing about it, is the different price points of all the things. They'd have like maybe one thing, but like all the other things would just be these sort of little transfers that we would always mess with. Look at this cool psychedelic transfer. It would be those same components. So each year they wouldn't really necessarily add a ton of components. They would just keep on recycling these certain components, and then the bigger kit would just have more and more of the same components, which is really cool. Oh, here's that green one, so we can see this is a little earlier version where we have a similar artist. Magic, and this one has a Magic Bunnies Cutout Cottage. And you can see there's the little cottage you could cut out. So they just would like throw a little different cutout in them. And then, this, I said I wasn't going to crack all these open, but look at me. I'm cracking them all open. And there's the cottage. This was in that other kit. Lo and behold, there's that duck. I love that duck. And another one. And that's the other thing about these is, the kids would use them, and then Mom would just throw all this stuff right back in the box for the next year, but you'd have to buy a new one because you used up the tablets. So it would, I'm sure there are some households where they would just have an endless. Oh, here's that artist again. So the green one was actually a much later one. I should have shown that later, but this one we can see. Oh, and look at this one. This one has a 12-page full color booklet inside. I don't know if that's in there. Let's look inside and see if we can find that. Oh, and this has the classic wheelbarrow. More of these. And look, more of these. And look, the duck. And so you can see, year after year, Mom keeps packing these away. The kids, this one has the treehouse, and it has the treehouse thing and this. And who knows, maybe these are all, I don't even know if this was all supposed to be in here. But, once again, the booklet is gone, the tablets are gone, but all this other stuff gets packed away for another day. This one, wait, did we already do that one? Yeah, I think we already did that one. Yeah, we already did that one. Okay, so that's the airplane. We did the airplane, and then I think I have a couple more. This one's neat because this is the 10 center Easter egg pure food color kit. So this just is with the tablets, cut out on the back, and just maybe once again, here's like a ton of transfers. And look at this. They're stuck to this little thing. How cool is that? I don't think I've ever cracked this one open. But once again, we're going to put that one, give you that nice one bunny cutout on the back. It's so cool. No wasted space. And then here's the big next step up, the 19th center. And this one had the little 3D, look at, oh yeah, it would come with, this one only came with 6 colors, transfers, the egg dipper, which was the little piece of metal, magic crayon, drying tray, twirly tops. And so here we even see it more. You would literally cut these, you'd punch these out as your drying tray, and then you'd make those into tops. Every bit of this is used, which is just so cool. Paas Die Company. Yeah, I think they're still making stuff. So those are my Paas ones, and those are really amongst my favorites because that's my childhood. It was interesting because for years and years I would just buy them and buy them and buy them and buy them, and just I would buy every Paas I ever saw. And so at one point I went through the box of everything I had, and I had all sorts of dupes of this, and I'd have them, this one would be 39 cents, and I'd have a 59-cent version because this one is 5 years later. And so I got it down, and I think this is a pretty good representation of the bunny ones. So RIT is another die company, and RIT makes a lot of dice for clothing and things. So they did this nice little color and space kit. I feel like I had another outer space kit other than this one, but I don't know. Going through my stuff, I didn't find it, and I'd organized that stuff pretty well. So these are your typical ones you see a lot of, which are these envelopes, like the 10 center, the Paas 10 center. This was really how they sold them, the coloring things early on. And Chick Chick was another company, and the Chick Chick art just always struck me as kind of lame, and just kind of weak compared to the glory that is Paas. This one is RIT, paying off Tweety Bird and doing Tweety Bird, which is kind of cool. And I think this has some. Here's this little Tweety Easter decorations. And inside here's just another one of these generic little transfer sheets. So maybe there was more. What does it say on here? Decorative rub off. So I don't have plus a. Yeah. So this would have had a bunch of rub downs on it that are mostly gone. This one's pretty interesting. This one's from '83. Usually I don't keep stuff that late, but instant egg art with the Dear God kids, which I must assume, dear God, thanks for making egg decorating so much fun. So I have to assume this was a comic strip or some sort of weird licensed thing. I don't know. The Dear God kids. So if you're a big Dear God kids series collector, there you go. So one of the other ways that the dies worked was you'd get these other little kits, these Presto, well, all kinds of different kits, and they'd be these little bottle ones. And so easy to use in cold water, because those other ones you'd have to get hot water. And then these were just little liquid Easter egg colors. You'd just pour them in and you'd be rocking and rolling. And this is like a 50s one or a very early 60s one. And, you know, as you can see, it's got that little magic wand on there, which you can do your dipping. And then these ones are like the real, you know, this one. There we got the Kmart Key 1. And then these ones really became a sort of staple where it'd be these little they do a little vacuum form on there, and the 3 little bottles would be in there, and they would just be ready to rock and roll. And then there'd also be a dipper in there, so it's, you know, the vacuum form's a little bigger, so it fits the dipper in there. Some really basic instructions. Look, what do we have here up in the corner? Garage. 2 100 bulbs, Easter thing, box from tray. Okay, keep a track of stuff in there. And then here's this one's a nice Humpty Dumpty. Ruby's float on Easter egg colors. These are those oil ones, kind of like some of that Dudley stuff. And this, although this one says 1968. Well, oh, and look at here. This is another Kmart special. This one with the tag literally printed on there. So they knew they were going to ship 100,000, 200,000 of these to all the Kmart. So they just slapped the price sticker right on there. And this is, well, it's pre-UPC, so I guess it could be early. But, you know, neat sort of Ruby's Humpty Dumpty sort of thing going on there. Really simple. And then this one I just love because this thing is Groovy Central. Look at that kid. That's me when I was a kid, except I never wore a tie and I never had a purple shirt. But I probably had green pants at some point. And this is like the 5-bottle deluxe one where you can mix all the colors. Of course, as kids, we were always looking to make black, of course, because we were kids. Never knew there were Easter egg coloring. Oh yeah, there's tons of old kits. I got rid of all my old kits because I don't like them. The graphics don't do much for me. But yeah, there's tons and tons of them. Because it's a really, I mean, I don't know when they came up with the idea of dyeing Easter eggs as this sort of thing. It seems like it's a very old thing. And so anytime you could figure out something to sell in the grocery store or in the Kmart, man, they would hit it pretty hard. And then here's a couple other really neat little things. These are headers to cello bags that would have held the eggs. And that's, you know, I always talk a lot about ephemera, and this one from Kmart. Kmart probably sold a heck of a lot of Easter stuff. These are just great. This is what I love. You know, it's not food, but it's about as food adjacent as you're going to get. And, you know, the one's pink and the one's purple. Just great. And, you know, these are manufactured by Peoria Plastic Company, East Peoria, Illinois. And, of course, these are both from the same company, which is cool. And that's ephemera at its ephemera-ness. Nice Brock's chocolate-covered cream eggs box. Yum. Actually, not yum. I don't like cream eggs. Ugh. My mom likes whatever those ones in the foil are. oh, I don't know what those eggs are called. They're chocolate on the outside and they have goo on the inside. Ooh, my mom likes cherry cordials too, which is never a thing I got into. And then we have these kind of boxes, which would have held like some sort of more festive egg in there. You know, hand rolled and hand decorated Happy Easter. So these sort of harken back to the way a lot of Easter stuff would have happened early on, where you'd have the chocolatier making the beautiful eggs, and in this case, they're making them en masse and hand decorating them somewhere, and then they're shipping them out in these boxes, and those eggs are going to go south pretty darn quick. And here's a Bishop's chocolate covered fruit and nut egg. Yuck. But some nice art on there. The Bishop Company. And so these kind of things were probably more regional things that maybe made it into the grocery store, but probably made it into other sorts of stores. Five and Dimes and other places where you would go, made with real chocolate, kitchen quality. And these ones are more like your See's Candy kind of candies. And so there's a whole sort of See's Candy kind of aspect to Easter that's very hard to sort of dig down and get into. So another thing of Easter that's taken off nowadays, like in a gigantic way, are Peeps. And what can you have on Peeps from the past? Well, you can have a little tray that Easter marshmallows would have gone in. This is made by Tell Chocolate Novelties, Brooklyn, New York, but it's just a little box that would have held some sort of marshmallowy kind of things. Then we get something which I find really cool. This is Rhoda, who's the original manufacturer of Peeps. I guess maybe they still are. I don't know. I didn't look into that. But this is an actual tray. This is a Peeps tray that someone has folded down and kept. And if you want, I might have gotten this from Jason. I don't know. But talk about rare. Oh, Cadbury eggs. That's what my mom was. Blech, gross. It's kind of interesting because these are sort of trading cards on the back. But, some really nice bunny graphics on the sides. It's just really neat. Peeps tray. That's obscure. That's a thing that I have a couple more things related to this, but this is the only actual marshmallow Peeps from Easter thing that I've ever had. It's interesting. Last week when I was doing the show, I pulled out my timer, my Time for Timer cell, and said that that's the only thing I'd ever found. Jason immediately went on eBay, and someone had a promotional photo from one of the timer shows, which I was able to buy for $15. So timer collection up to 2. If anybody else has any more leads on that kind of thing, please clue me in. And this is, I've posted this on Instagram. This is one of the most beautiful ads ever. And I mean, just look at all this glorious, glorious Brock's stuff. Rabbits. Look at all these bags. Malted milk eggs. Oh, I could go for malted milk eggs right now. And it's a beautiful painting of these women marching in the street and all the candies marching in the street. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. And I probably have a few more candy wrappers that are Easter related that I did not find. Because I didn't dig deep into all my candy stuff. I mean, I looked through it. I always look through tons and tons of boxes, but I do miss things. And then this is an interesting piece. This is an actual Easter egg from probably the 60s. It's a 1 ounce egg, bunny and cart. So it's bunny and cart. Sort of probably basically looks like that. Still in there, and I keep it nicely socked away in a Ziploc bag. And that's one of my. I mean, if we want to talk about my favorite Easter / candy, holiday candy things, my favorite thing was/are the chocolate covered marshmallow chocolate. What would the Brax ad have come from? A trade magazine? Let's see. Look on the back. This ad is from Chain Store Age magazine, January 1960. Yeah, and that's another thing is a lot of this kind of stuff would come from trade stuff, so you'd have to search trade stuff. The chocolate covered marshmallow Santa Claus is still one of my favorite things. Cool. You could spend a lifetime collecting Easter cards. This one's cool because it's space, so I kept it because it's space. And this is another neat little thing. It's a Easter colored cartoons. It's a little tiny viewer for Easter, and then it would have little images inside. Still on the card. Silly. So I think that's most of Easter. Now we're doing good. 10:25. Now we're gonna look at some Halloween, some 4th of July stuff. If we do have time, we might get to. I have a little pile of Halloween stuff here. We probably won't have time, but if we have time, we will get to it. Because Easter went pretty quick and then covered a lot of stuff. So we'll look at this sort of silly thing first. At some point, Paas decided to try to get into the Halloween market. This one's from 1984, and it's pretty silly. It's just some. They probably bought this stuff from some other company. Some fangs and whatnot, and some colors and some makeups. They just thought, man, we're the seasonal guys. We got to take over Halloween, and that is another show. That's another show that I'll do. I'll go through my box of Imagineering Halloween stuff, which is something I've collected fairly obsessively for a lot of years. Because once again, it's a thing that has absolutely beautiful graphics. This. Not beautiful graphics, but interesting, It's always interesting to see those outlier things that get made. The one thing, so now we're going to go into 4th of July and fireworks. The one thing I seriously collect in 4th of July are snakes packages. Jumbo snakes, Magic Apollo snakes, Jumbo Magic Black snakes, glowworms, jet dragon snakes, python, leader snakes, Apollo, Brookside magic glowworms, jumbo magic snakes, rainbow magic snakes, cobra magic snakes, or black snakes, red devil magic glowworms. I mean, we loved snakes when we were kids because they were the thing you got to do before 4th of July really happened. You'd go out in front of the house, and you'd get to start lighting fires, and you got to start doing snakes. 'Cause who wants to do snakes at night? I mean, maybe the rainbow snakes would do a little bonus thing. So it was sort of the beginning of 4th of July. And so at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to collect snakes. And I've done a decent job. I've got like a nice little collection of them. And I just think they're really cool looking. And, it's like a collection that all fits into one little thing. So it's like the whole collection. Would I like to have 10 times this amount? Of course I would like to have 10 times this amount. Are there 10 times this amount to find? Probably not. You got to imagine there's only so many of them out there in the world. And, of course, sparklers. Everyone loves sparklers. Red Devil being one of the really classic brands. And that one of the interesting things is I grew up in Orange County, and so we had fireworks stands like my whole childhood. I mean, I don't think they still have them, but certainly probably into my 20s they still had them. And that's one thing I dream about finding is nice photos of fireworks stands. I've only ever found like one really nice photo, and it's a beautiful Freedom fireworks. Oh my God, it's just a gorgeous photo. I probably should have had that with me here somewhere so I could reference that. This is a firecracker label. Firecracker labels are a big collectible thing. This is from like some big brick of firecrackers. Haven't ever found much firecracker stuff because I think it's pretty collectible. So now we're gonna let's do the brochures. Well, actually, we'll do this real quick. This is a photo of all the fireworks me and my friends in Orange County did, probably in the late 80s, I would guess. So all my friends would come over to the house, and I saved this guy, which we changed from Lil Red to Little Dread, because that was my buddy Mark's idea. And as you can see, he's whoops, there he is standing up over. And so this was a full block party. And this was the bottom of the box, which I cut out and saved. Yeah, so it's probably like 88 maybe, I would guess. And we were still going over my parents' house and lighting off the fireworks there. So we were fairly firework obsessed. And so at some point, my buddy Randy Jones found a bunch of old fireworks brochures. So this one's from '67. And God, look at these boxes. Oh my God, look at how gorgeous all that stuff is. And that's like Smokey Joe over there. I have like this really nice little Red Devil box that has a Smokey Joe cutout. And for the life of me, I could not find it for this thing. It drove me crazy. I looked all over the place. And you know, if you grew up with Red Devil fireworks, Old Glory, Pirate, Colorama, Giant. This is the one I have somewhere. It's this little tiny box. And the Red Devil Jr. And if you go and look up Randy Jones, who's Tiki Ranch on Instagram, he just posted some boxes. He found some full boxes of fireworks from the late 70s and maybe early 80s. And it's just gorgeous. I'm just like, you know, he puts that stuff up there. I'm just like, I want that stuff so badly. And it's like, I should not own any of that stuff. But I'm still looking I'd like to find a loose Smokey Joe. And I'd love to find the cabin. One of the things they'd have in all these things, we'll probably have it in here somewhere, there was a log cabin with a little thing that would then smoke. Oh my God, I love that thing. So then this is this I think is 69. You can usually figure out what dates they are on these. There's usually a date somewhere, but you know, this is my childhood. You know, look at the same ones. They just kept making. Oh, there's the log cabin right there. Boom. There's Smokey Joe. Oh my God, so cool. This one's fun because it's, you know, it's Explorer Post 86 on Harbor Boulevard at Palm. And that was the thing about these is it was a huge fundraising thing for Boy Scouts and things like that. Big Bang Cannon. We bought the Big Bang Cannon at one point. I think I might still have our Big Bang Cannon up in the cabinet somewhere. I think I might still have it. Smoky Pot. And for me, these things were the ultimate. These are the ultimate sort of 4th of July things, because the stands would pop up, then you would go there and you get this. And then me, as the little obsessive kid that I was, this was kind of my Sears catalog, you know, that I would just pour over and pour over and pour over. Let's see, 72, 73, 75. Why are these not in order? Dan, what are you doing? Oh, 71. So maybe that one was 69. So this is like 71. Boom, Red Devil. Oh, so good. And that was what was neat about this whole collection, was it was tons and tons of them, and it was somebody that ran the fireworks stand, and so they kept a certain amount, you know, that were left over or whatever, and so it was just this nice run. And they also kept some of the competitors' stuff, and as you can see, they're pretty similar each year, but it's, yeah, at some point we probably have the ground bloom flowers come in. Because ground bloom flowers, were one of those sort of change the equation sort, So like each year, I'm sure if we looked at this, the prices slowly begin to creep up as price creep always happens in life. And my dad was just the huge ground bloom flowers guy. And so he would always go and buy multiple 6-packs because he could never get enough of those babies. And here we have the Red Devil guy is sort of he sort of comes into it. And the family. And probably at some point I should send these all to Jason, and Jason can scan them all beautifully and put them up there for everybody. Oh, here we go. There it is. The ground bloom flowers. Wow, smash. So I think this might be the first year of those, which is like 74. So 73, 74, those babies came out. And, what? I mean, talk about just pushing the limits of safety. Families up to $8.95, and you get the extra Star Spangled Salute. And that was always, the glory of fireworks is they were always trying to upsell you. You get this extra and that extra. Do you have anything of the 4th of July for the bicentennial? For the bicentennial? No, I don't think. I collected Freedom Train stuff for a little while because we went to the Freedom Train, the bicentennial, which was, shall we say, one of the most miserable experiences of my life and my family's life. But I did get to see Abraham Lincoln's hat. So I will always have the glorious experience of Abraham Lincoln's hat. Here's a little bit of Red Devil Salutes America. So we do have, this is sort of bicentennial. And family fireworks up to $10.95. So the bicentennial brought us some price increases and some new graphics on some boxes. And I'm sure, there's a few guys out there that are obsessively collecting a lot of fireworks stuff. And so hopefully someday one of these guys will go and put out a beautiful book that shows us all these boxes and shows us all the flyers. And it would just be a gorgeous book. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but, these are all the ones up through the 80s. So Red Devil was like sort of the primary one, and by the 80s, this is an 80s one, but this is Magic Dragon, which I sort of remember Magic Dragon coming around. I'm sure there were I'm sure there was tons of overlap. So here's Wildcat. Wildcat was another one, but all the boxes are different, but all the stuff's pretty much the same. There's the log cabin, the clipper cabin. So there's the snakes, and each one was, yes, Coolville would buy that book. Yes, I would buy that book in 1 second. I mean, anybody would. I love the graphics on these boxes. They're, really pretty. Pretty. So that's Wildcat. And then, of course, Freedom, which Freedom is just great. With the Freedom Missile, Block Party. What's this? That's, we got this. Read this thing. What does it say? There should always be an adult present when fireworks are used. Okay. God bless you. This is Cal State Fullerton Boosters Club. And, the Freedom ones are just beautiful. Uncle Sam. I feel like maybe. Oh, I think Jim Maley might have one of those Freedom boxes. There's another Black Cat. Did we already do that one, or this is just another? This is a little earlier one. Yeah, this is a little earlier one. And look, there's a green one and a yellow one and an orange one, and then the big one is full color. Yum, yum, yum. King Kong Thunderbolt. Sign me up. And these are more 80s ones. A 76 from Freedom. Aces Fireworks. Here's the Bicentennial Wildcat. And, you know, it gave them a reason to sort of upgrade a little bit. Freedom 76 one. Another Freedom one. This is the 69 Red Devil with this cool sort of interesting different devil that they didn't use for very long. And as you saw, I had that 67. The 67 ones, the earlier 60s ones were slick. So it was $6.95 back there. And you know, it's always like a value of $9.25. And this was in the Safeway parking lot. Excellent. And you can see more 80s ones. Okay, that's all the flyers. Oh, wait, not all the flyers. Almost all the flyers. So with Freedom, so then here's an earlier Freedom one, which is really nice because it's four color process. And you know, look at their Smokey Joe. He's like he's a real serious hobo. And this one, you know, they're like, we're gonna fold out this way because we knew Dan was gonna make his show, and we wanted to be like that. And there's just the Serpent Charmer. Oh, I didn't get my Serpent Charmer. I think if I have Serpent Charmer, I have like one of the little boxes, which I love. The Witch's Cauldron. I have the Witch's Cauldron box somewhere. I mean, I know exactly where it is, but of course I forgot to bring it out. And then this one, here's the sales rep, Bob Burklight. This one is super cool because what this has all the contents of everything. So what they would have done with this is they would have stapled to the side of the fireworks stand so you knew how much everything was. Aha! And so this is just beyond gorgeous. I love it. I love it. This is a little early Red Devil, and this is like, oh, look at this little comic strip. Hey, Jimmy, don't burn your face off. So they'd give these out. These probably have one of these at the bottom of the box. I knew you had a lot of this material. Yes. Well, it's that one big load that Randy got was where most all this stuff came from. Envelope. Another little later fireworks safety thing with hideous graphics. And then these are also really cool. These are, so this is, once again, this is what was in all the things. And this one probably would have been stuck up in the back of the, you know, where the people could see it, where the people working, so they would know if you said, what exactly is in the block party, and he'd be like, 18 ground bloom flowers, 12 smoke balls, 36 sparklers, 6 morning glories, 1 cosmos gun, queen of hearts, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when you get the kits, they would have these in them, which is a rundown of all the stuff in your thing. So this is the Colorama. This is a Spectacular Lawn Assortment. This is your classic pirate. And this is all the stuff in the Apollo. This one is a little pitch brochure and, you know, some prices, which is interesting. Red Devil Fireworks Information Kit with, there's the sales rep, Mark Gassman. Mark Gassman. So if anybody wants to contact Mark Gassman, see if he's still around. See what he's got in his garage. I never did it. And then one last fireworks piece. This is a Mercury Assortment fireworks box. This is what it would have had in it for $6.25. Really cool. Where are we at? We're 10:45. What we're going to do is we're just going to run through a few Christmas things really quick. So we're going to finish with a little Christmas. We're going to skip on the 2 or 3 Halloween things I pulled out. This is cool. So this is a box of Double Glow icicles, but it's with the magic of Merlin, which was Sword in the Stone. So it's like a Disney crossover. And one day at the flea market, we found 3 or 4 of these. And there's like I think I have like a newspaper ad or something for this. Like, talk about obscure, you know. How many icicle boxes do you find in a day? Not very many. How many do you find that are actually Disney related? Even less. A nice Brock's Christmas candy sign. You all remember those cool candies, which were sort of extruded and then they cut, and so they'd be like these beautiful things. Just a beautiful sign. I think this one's in Crazy Kids Food, the book. And as I said before, here we go. Holiday mallows. Oh, maybe I'll get to the... I might get to the... Maybe we'll cruise through the Halloween stuff too. So this is when they were making essentially Peeps for Christmas, which I don't know if they still do. This is a candy kitchen from Santa's Village in Lake... I think it's Lake Arrowhead. No. It could have been in Santa Cruz or it could have been in Dundee. Oh, it could. So it's any of them. So it's from Santa's Village. And I've got a couple, maybe 2 of these, 2 different candy boxes. Let's see. And then sometimes I get to find these cool Santa Claus letters, which is neat. This is like sort of a Christmas catalog. Another one of those letters. So the one Halloween thing I'll do today, and then I'm going to end with a story about stuff. We'll just do these because we did the Brock's ones. These are a couple of nice Brock's Halloween signs. And I don't collect a lot of Halloween candy stuff because it's pretty... You'll fill up your house. And then this is super cool. Halloween witch mallows. So this is a Halloween Peeps type product tray, which was made by Rhoda, who is the Peeps people. So that's very neat and very obscure. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about my wife's grandfather. Yeah, my wife's grandfather, who was an artist, and he actually drew the Arden Milk Boy, if you know about advertising. But he also did other stuff for the company, for the milk company. He made these things. So what these are is, this is like a little thing that would have gone around the milk, like the milk jar. And the cool thing about this is hand painted. These are his hand painted mock-ups of these things. And so they would have printed these out for Easter, and then it would have... Be careful with this. So the back would have locked together like this, and then that would have sat there. I guess maybe they're displays. I don't know if they just send one out or they send one for each milk bottle, but they're beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's a little girl one with the egg. And they're painted in gouache. He's oh wait, there's 2 of these. Wait, what's going on here? Let's see. And the thing about him that was like beyond amazing is, what's the difference between these 2? Each one of these is hand painted. So he would hand cut this out, hand put it together, hand paint it, and then he'd paint 2 of them. Incredible, 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 incredible. And then, oh wait, yeah. So then this is Santa Claus. And another Santa Claus. These are both, like I said, these are both originals. both done by his hand. It's like incredible. And then that's the thing about them, is when we got them, I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, because we got some of the Santa Clauses. They made the Santa Claus one for sure. There's another Easter bunny. They made the Santa Claus one for sure, and I have some of those. And these are all from like 1950 and 1951. Here's like, oh, here we go. Golden State Dairy. And that, I mean, you know, that's hand-painted lettering. Very cool. And so that I have some of the Santa Clauses, and this one is creepy weird baby with strange eyes. And you can see it's got this whole mechanical thing for making it into a display. So I think that what they do is they'd put them out there, and then and then they'd give them away afterwards. Oh, let's look at the Halloween stuff since we still have a few more minutes. So his name was Lloyd Tucker. He also did a line of plates that are called Birds of Paradise. Are they called Birds of Paradise? But he did a whole line of plates that are these beautiful flowers. This is like my favorite Halloween thing. Which is a skeleton. Dangling skeleton. I love this design. Like, this is like one of my favorite 3D designs of all time. He's just like so weird and cool and stiff and like creepy. Ugh, I love him so much. Here's a nice Milky Way bag with the Halloween thingamajigger. Let's see what else. Just a few more things. There's some more Halloween things that would wrap. So instead of like, instead of reboxing, they would just put this paper wrap around the box of Hershey bars, and they'd be ready for Halloween. Then at one point I found a nice group. Somebody like just saved all these little cello scraps of Halloween candy stuff. And a lot of these things they made as boxes too, but they also made them as cello wraps. I love these little kids. Kids are so great. Oh, a couple more of the Hershey's ones. The witch. And this is definitely a box. So that's all. Happy Valentine's Day, Grandma. Yeah, we could also dig through. I've got. Here's a really. Oh, haha. Dig and you shall find. Yes, Dan Goodsell. It's. You know why you thought it was in the box? There it is. There it is. It's on the back of this. And this is like basically the coolest wrapping paper that ever existed. Santa Claus and mobile homes in like Florida with the things. And there's that little kitty pack box. And there's Dan Goodsell's old friend, Smokey Joe. I found him. And then, this is all old wrapping paper. Some Christmas, some otherwise. Ooh, this is pretty. Once I get started. Now that is some pretty Valentine's Day paper. Will you do an episode of wrapping paper and greeting cards? No, I will not. I don't have enough. I just have maybe 10 or 15 different of these, clowns, tablecloth. And I mean, that's the thing about any of these kind of collections is you could spend a lifetime collecting wrapping paper with this, this beautiful French, this one's still in the package. These great ornaments. Fishing lures. great happy birthday graphics. Great fairy tales. Jack jumped over the candlestick. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do episodes on everything that I have enough stuff to do on, you know. But, you know, when it comes to something like greeting cards, I just don't have enough. Just because, I mean, I have some, you know. I have, you know, this is what I have in greeting cards. It's, you know, it's 20 or 30, 40 or 50, you know, it's not a lot. And I mean, as collectibles go, you know, I've got a few nice ones like this, but I don't have a lot to say about it. I wish I did. I wish I had a lot more to say about everything. And you know, like, yeah, these are my cards. Snake. This is a cool Santa Claus. It's a really cool Santa Claus. Isn't that a cool Santa Claus? Hello, Santa Claus. We'll just go through these. Be mine. That's not really nice ghosts. And this one's cool. There's a mask inside. I mean, how cool is that? It's a card that has a mask inside. This one's nice. Santa on a tractor. Devil Child. I love this. That's the 60s to me. Little girl surrounded by candles. Yeah, I think at one point I went through and I cleaned out all my cards, and I was like, I am just going to keep the ones that I really like. This one. Oh my God, what's inside there? No, there's Santa Claus, and he got stuck. Oh my God, look at this. Oh, I kept this one because of that cool snowman. Look at that cool snowman. He's really cool. Weird. You make guys like Socrates look like mediocrities. It kind of scans. I don't know why I kept this one. Birthday elephant for a 3-year-old. Oh, see, look at that. So there was an elephant in there that you punch out. How cool is that? This is a card that S. Britt did for eBay. So you never know what you're going to find. This one I think is... Yeah, this is T. He, who's a big Disney artist. And this is like from seals. I collected seals at one point. Oh yeah, believe me. This card is beautiful. It has these nice... We'll end with this. I don't collect a lot of old stuff, but a joyful Easter to you. Oh, dancing with the bunny. A joyful Easter. So, yes. Like I say, as I always say, we'll end with this, and then I go and I pull some more stuff. Since we're probably never going to get back to this stuff. Santa Claus Cornucopia. Some little seals with Santa Claus. This one's a little corn. Hope I ear right, you'll be mine. Ear here. This one's kind of weird. Get well soon. What's cooking with you? Witch. This is a cool one. It's a little built up 3D thing. And here's another mask one. I'll just fool with this funny mask. Boom! The devil! Oh, this is a beautiful. There's a beautiful Easter card. Oh my God, that's a beauty. And you know, that's the thing with all this stuff. You can collect Halloween napkins. You can collect Christmas napkins. You can collect boozy drink napkins. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, everybody out there whose birthday it is. This show turned into a giant mess because I cracked into things I wasn't planning on cracking into. which is fine because I do it all for you guys. What's next week going to be? I have no idea what next week's going to be. I was going to maybe ask you guys what you wanted to see, but then I forgot to have my list with me so I could look at my list. Everybody, take a pause in your day and do something fun. Is my thing down? Is my thing all messed up? I don't know. We'll have to see. See if that fixes anything. Who knows? It's 11 o'clock. I'm going to say goodbye. You can always check me out on Instagram. Hit me up there. Say this, that, or the other thing. I'll probably take pictures of all the Paas boxes now and put them up on there because I want to look at them again because I love them. You guys are all great. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll be back next Sunday. And yeah, that's probably it. So I'll see you next week. And thanks for hanging in there and sitting through all this stuff. Bye bye.